All right, here we go. This one's going to be a 357 SIG versus 9x25 Dillon test. Today we have some Underwood ammo to try out. So for the 357 SIG, that one is the 124 grain Nosler bullet. Here's what that one looks like. That one does have your nickel-plated brass and is rated at 1,475 feet per second. And for a 9x25 Dillon, that one is the 124 grain XTP. That one has your standard brass case and is rated at 1,700 feet per second. So we'll see how close we come today. So for our 357 SIG, we'll be using our Glock 31. That one does have that 4.5-inch barrel. And for 9x25, we'll be using Mr. Lee's Glock 40. That one does have that 6-inch 9x25 Dillon conversion barrel in it. So not really apples to apples with barrel length here, but still should be a pretty fun test. So we'll be going through our gel. That is a 10% block. We do have our catch block behind that, so a total of 22 inches of gel. Our 4 layers of cotton t-shirt on the front, and like always, we'll set up our chronograph so we can hopefully pick up those impact velocities. So let's set up and see how these rounds do head to head. First one up will be at 357 SIG. All right, we're stepping back to 15 feet. All right, let's see what we did on that one. So it looks like our impact velocity on that one was 1499. So definitely awesome to see. I believe advertised and rated was 1475. So, you know, almost 1,500 feet per second out of that 4.5-inch. So definitely some good stuff. All right, so there's the entry for that one. Looks like I got another really good hit. You see right down that cavity and a huge star pattern so far. You can actually see a little bit of fragmentation pretty quickly. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, definitely not too bad at all. Huge stretch going in, a little bit more fragments. Did settle down just a little bit there towards the end, and then we actually did make it into that second block, so that's always good to see. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here from the side. Looks like we have a little bit of a blowout. So like always, we'll do our cross sections here at the end so we get a little bit more accurate measurement. But at our widest spot there, we are at just shy of 3 3/4 inches of total stretch on that one. So it's actually pretty impressive. You know, it was moving out pretty good, so awesome to see there. So let's check it out from the side. Oh yeah, check that out. Same thing from the side. So pretty much as soon as that thing came in, definitely exploded in there. You can see quite a bit of fragmentation. Looks like it carried that energy about 2/3 of the way through that block, and we did make it into that second one. But you can see all those different shoots where those petals are just kind of going off in there. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here from the side. It's basically from the very bottom of the table almost to the top, just about 3.5 inches. So not as much from the side than the top, but you know, still very impressive. That is some nasty stuff for sure. And hopefully you guys can see that round here. That one is facing downward. And it looks like at our leading edge, we're at 2 1/4 inches. So that is 13 1/4 of total. That is, sorry, 13 1/4 inches of total penetration for that one. So definitely really good to see. So let's set up for that 9x25 and see how that one does. All right, we're still back to 15 feet. All right, let's see what we did on that one. All right, so it looks like our impact velocity on that one was 1703. So that is awesome to see. That one came in just just above advertised, which was right at 17. So that thing was moving out really good. So it's awesome to see that both of those rounds came in above advertised. Squirrel. That dude's super close to us. It's like a PD chopper. Pretty cool. It's a ton of air traffic out here in my area that I'm shooting. But anyways, back to it. All right, so there is the entry. Looks like it got another really good hit. You can see right down in that cavity, and you can already see a little bit of fragmentation. There is a huge star pattern, so let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, check that out. That thing is super impressive every time I test it now. Huge stretch, ton of fragmentation. Looks like it did settle down just a little bit there towards the end. Did kind of curve to the right, and you can see that round resting here in that first block. So we did not make it out of that first one. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here at our widest spot. And this one we are right at about just over 3 1/4. So it actually seems like it's a little bit less than you know, our 357 SIG. But like I always do, I will cut these for a cross section so we can get a little bit more accurate measurement, because it does look like the stretch is a little bit more diagonal, that, you know, right up here on top. So I'm sure it's definitely bigger, because that one was coming in 200 feet per second above that SIG. So let's check it out from the side. And that's kind of what it seems like lately. We're getting just about 200 feet per second above the SIG on average. You know, it does have an 1.5 inch longer barrel, right at 6 inches, compared to our full size 4.5, but you know, still pretty darn impressive. So let's check this out here from the side. So you can see that thing came in. You can see just fragments all over the place. It looks like it carried that energy pretty far though, a little past halfway, and then you can see that round resting here in that first block. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here. So at our widest spot from the side, we are at just about 2 3/4. So definitely a little bit less from the side than the top, but you know, still pretty impressive. And let's check at our leading edge on this one. We made it right at that 11-inch mark. This is an 11-inch block. So let's see, it looks like it, yeah, it's pretty much coming out right there. So you can actually feel it on the edge of that block. So, you know, definitely not too bad. So let's check these paths one more time. What I'll do is I'll flip this block so we can get a little bit of a clearer view. All right, so here those tracks are. The one on the right is that 357 SIG, and the one coming towards us is that 9x25 Dillon. So here is that SIG. You can see as soon as that one came in, pretty much exploded. You can see all those fragments all over the place. Just going and going. A lot more fragmentation there towards the end. Did start to settle down a little bit, and we did make it into that second block. And that Dillon, same thing with that one, came in, pretty much exploded. Ton more fragmentation going through. It looks like that one settled down pretty quickly. It did dump quite a bit of energy there towards the beginning. And then you can see that round there right at the edge of that block. So we almost made it out. So definitely not too bad. So let's pull these rounds and see what they look like. All right, check these things out. Looks like they both got some pretty major expansion. So the one on the right is that 357 SIG, one on the left is that 9x25 Dillon. So here is that SIG. You can see that thing open up really nicely. Really nice mushrooming. He definitely peeled every one of those petals off. They are still left in that block. Like we always do, we'll pull everything out so we can get our screenshots here at the end. But definitely got some very nice expansion for that one. It's good to see that that one actually reached, you know, over advertised velocity right at 1,500 feet per second. I think it was definitely moving out pretty good. There's one nasty round for sure. And here is that Dillon. Same thing with that one. Opened up really nicely. Pretty much made it to its breaking point. That one was really moving out. You can see all those petals folded right over that base. And this one does have quite a bit of gel stuffed in there. Like I said, we'll rinse everything and get all our stuff here at the end. But definitely very impressive. That one's been really fun to test lately. And awesome that we have the opportunity to test it. So definitely very cool. So let's check these out one time from the bottom. So the one on the right is that 357 SIG. One on the left is that 9x25 Dillon. So we do have a pedal from that Dillon that we were able to pull out, you know, right away. But some pretty major expansion. And last time from the top. So like I said, we'll pull everything out here at the end, got our screenshots, slow-mo, all that good stuff. So once again, thank you, Mr. Lee, for letting us borrow this thing so we can get some testing done. It's definitely been very fun. So as always, thanks for watching, guys. All right, so here's that cross section for that 357 SIG. You can see this one did quite a bit of damage. Pretty much every time we test that 124, it usually does pretty much the same thing. Really tears this gel up. Huge cuts down in there though. This side you can see quite a bit of fragmentation going on, and same thing, huge splits, a little bit more petals down in there. I did remeasure this. We were peaking right at about 3 1/4 inches and averaging about 3 inches. So, you know, pretty on par to what it normally does. And it's really good to see, you know, those velocities that came out of it as well, right at that 1500 foot per second mark. So let's cut this open. All right, and here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right side, this top is the left. So you can see as soon as that thing came in, right, that 1/4 inch mark started to open up, and you can see that huge path going through it. It is definitely a very big path, and check that out. The amount of damage coming from this is crazy. But like I said, when we do test these, they're always impressive. It's definitely one of my favorite rounds for this caliber. I do really like the HST, but this one is definitely up there. But yeah, check this out. This, you know, kind of chunks right here, barely hanging on in that path. A little bit of fragmentation, some of the petals, some of the lead, but some very deep cuts, deep splits, a little bit more down in there. But man, that is definitely one nasty channel for sure. And same thing on this side, came in, started to parachute open. You can really see it on this side. Nice wide path. And same thing, came in and just really jumbled this stuff up. You can see a couple of those shoots going off, where those petals are kind of going off. But man, those some very deep cuts. Like I said, always very impressive. That thing was moving, so, you know, right at that 1500 feet. Sorry guys, all tongue tied. Right at the 1500 foot per second mark. You know, it was right above average, so that's always good to see. So do one more quick angle. See if we can get this thing to stay, but you can really see what's going on down in there. Just very impressive. I love that 357 SIG. That thing is one mean caliber and definitely one mean round. So there we go, guys. That one was a 124 grain Nosler loaded by Underwood. All right, and here's that cross section for that Dillon. You can see this one, you know, it's pretty crazy right off the bat. Tons of fragmentation going on, some really big splits and spider webbing. There is a couple petals that you can see here on this side as well. There's a bunch of black stuff in there. Basically what that is the cotton t-shirt that I put on the front, the 4 layers. I usually mark it with a Sharpie, and you know, so that's basically, I hit it direct, so it's kind of dragging a lot of that stuff in there. So that is what all that black stuff is. But I did remeasure these. They're peaking right at about 3 3/4 and averaging a little bit less than about 3 1/2 inches. So, you know, that one was definitely doing quite a bit. So let's cut this open. All right, and here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right side, this top is the left. So you can see as soon as it came in, right, that 1/4 inch mark started to open up. See that huge path going on and a ton of fragmentation, and right here you can see all that black fabric a little bit better. But man, it really carried this stuff in there, and definitely made a mess of that block. But as you can tell, it really did a number on that gel. It's quite a bit of damage going on. There are some very huge splits, and just like all the last, you know, rest of the tests that we've been doing with this caliber, those rounds just can't hold together at those high velocities. They're literally just coming apart as soon as they come in. And here's the top, same thing, came in. Nice white path going through, and same thing, a little bit more of that black fabric and quite a bit more fragmentation. But there's definitely some nasty stuff for sure, just the way that it tears this gel up. Super impressive. Unless, you know, it's going almost 1700 feet per second, so kind of expected. But man, that is definitely pretty crazy. We'll do one more quick angle, just so you guys can see a little bit better. But you can see that path, very big, deep splits. But there we go, guys. That one was that 124 grain XTP loaded by Underwood, and that one was that 9x25 Dillon.